Hello.
Oh, good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, my thing wasn't working. My camera wasn't working, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But as soon as I signed in, it was like all good.
Last month, I was getting ready for one of my School of Expansion calls, and it was an hour before call time, and those little notification came up saying you're due for a system update. Update ready. Estimated time 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, 2 minutes, lots of time. I run it, and then like literally it stopped like 3 minutes before the call start.
Oh my gosh. So what happens then? You just everything's on hold.
Yeah, I mean, it was stuck doing a BIOS update for like 50 minutes.
What day was this?
This was like a month ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Have you ever? You've never been late to anything. You're always Mr. On time.
Fingers crossed. The one thing I've always worried about the most for our School of Expansion calls, because it's paying members, is not hitting the record button before a call and forgetting to record it. And we've been doing, weekly calls for 5 years now with my paid communities, and I haven't forgotten it once, which is amazing.
Do you have like a
fingers crossed I
airline
didn't just
pilot
jinx
checklist?
myself. Oh no.
You definitely jinxed yourself. So now you need an airline pilot checklist.
So now all my School Expansion students, make sure you guys remind me to hit record on the call today.
What's new?
Lots of stuff, lots going on.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
So we have an accepted offer on the Forest Playground.
Nice.
So that's been a manifestation that's been in the works for like 2.5 years, which is amazing. I'm running a free webinar on Sunday on the topic of health and health mindset. That's a free webinar. If anybody wants access to that, you can register at health.nickbreau.com/DEC17 for December 17th.
Let's put that in the link. Yeah.
So that's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, lots going on. Trying to get ready for Christmas, which has been completely off my radar.
It always is every year, right? It's something for me. Maybe it's a male thing.
I don't know. It's like there's no snow. We had snow for a few days now. It's all melted, and it's like doesn't feel like wintertime. Doesn't feel like Christmas. So it's like the Christmas vibe isn't quite there yet. Even though Nick's put 2 Christmas trees up in the house.
Oh, right next to each other.
Yeah. Close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So same here. Yeah. No snow here at all. But then it's like I always feel like I'm catching up on this other thing, and it's like it's already the 15th, whatever day it is today. But it always feels like why is it a surprise? Every holiday, Valentine's Day, the one thing I have to do,
Yeah. And what's new with you? What you got going on?
I'm just tired, man. I just been I stayed up until like
are you still sleeping?
Working.
So you're not still sleeping on the couch?
Sleeping? No. That was never like a more than a one day thing. I've never been in trouble enough to.
Good.
She always is the one that goes at the couch, if anything. Not like a force of like you do this, but yeah.
So what have you been working on that's keeping you up?
Yeah, just videos and stuff. Just working on I've got all this like cool lighting stuff. My lighting looks better here today. I'm tired, but I'm just like I'm learning all the stuff that I thought I already knew. Like it's one thing to, I watch movies and it's like, oh yeah, I would do it this way. And then it's like, oh, all the technical details behind all that. And so if I want this perfect shot, it's just so much stuff.
And do you feel like these last 3-4 weeks have really like almost like floodgates have been open? Like for us, like there's so much that's going on, like business inspirations and this new health stuff that I'm taking that's transforming my health. This woodlot, this 66 acres that suddenly showed up after 2.5 years. Like it just feels like something's opened up. And for me, it's from practicing and attuning to that vibration of support. And I'm curious how many people have felt this tsunami of happenings over these last 3-4 weeks. Have you felt like there's been an opening for you?
100%. Like so what? We've been doing this 3 months. For 3 months, it's been that tsunami, and it's just like you said, it's just like they're almost twisting the knob to like open it farther and farther and farther. It's just more stuff. It hasn't ever felt overwhelming yet, but yeah.
How about in the chat? How about you guys in the chat window? How have you guys felt like there's been this opening in the last month, or do things kind of feel stagnant for you guys?
Yeah,
What I've noticed too is like Nick and I have this tendency of like being ahead of the curve where we'll experience a bunch of stuff, and a lot of our like membership community members 2 or 3 months later, it's like they start to experience it, which I've always found interesting too.
So do you feel like, because you're definitely more enthusiastic today, you're more vibrant today. I can
Yeah,
feel
there's
it.
just maybe it's the coffee. I don't know. Actually, I slept the hardest last night that I've slept like in a long, long time. Like
Mm.
so solid, I could barely like wake myself up. It was crazy, but it's good.
Feeling like I'm being dragged around by the head and battered. Nothing makes sense, bro. Oh, this is when she was. Oh, someone must be complaining about other things because everyone else was like, definitely feeling better. Yes. Happier. Yes.
Yeah, but when reality causes a shakeup, like one thing I've noticed too, a lot of people right now feel kind of confused, almost like they don't know what's going on in reality. They don't know where they're heading. Nothing feels like it's working, and it's like maybe a feeling like you're in this blender of chaos, um, with no direction. And that kind of sounds like that. What that comment sounded like a little bit.
Yeah. Time of year is quiet versus stagnant energy. So you kind of get a wild shift.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm like in this, like things are open or
Yeah.
allowing, you know. I suppose the support thing is like really powerful, especially if it is
Oh, massively.
flooding in.
And like they're saying, I'm still just at the tip of the iceberg on the topic.
Of course.
So what I'm going to do today, and this is what I think we're going to talk about on the School of Expansion call this afternoon. I'm going to do some channeling with Anik and really get clarity on like creating vibrational momentum on different aspects of reality. So Anik and I were talking this morning about how people have a tendency to like, I don't know, I desire something, and I'm going to just sit back and trust the universe that the universe is going to make it happen.
Yep.
Right. But if you're not getting clear on your desired outcome or your desired direction or a desired end result, if you're not clear on where it is you want to go or what you want to look like, then you're not creating any momentum towards it. Right.
Okay.
So like if you're looking for a job, if you're like, I hate my job, I want to leave my job, I'm going to trust the universe is going to come up with a solution with me and find me a new job. Well, if you're not actively, and when I say actively, I don't mean going looking at job postings. When I say actively, I mean vibrationally and in your mindset. If you're not working towards achieving the clarity of what you would like instead, then how is the universe supposed to direct you into something new if you're not clear on what you do want or creating momentum towards it?
Yeah, so I mean, can you stumble into it? You can stumble into it because that's kind of sort of like it felt like clear intention maybe at one point, but I forgot what those were. Now that I'm in the thick of it, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, clear intention doesn't have to mean like every little detail about that desire figured out.
Yeah.
Right. Clear intention, you know, I want a different job is clear intention,
Sure it is.
but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of momentum created when you stay too general.
Yeah, and more clarity. Need to achieve more clarity. So,
I would
like,
say,
have you ever felt go ahead.
I would say clarity and specificity. So
Right.
I can be clear about the fact that I hate my job and I want something else, but that's not enough specificity. I don't even know if that's a word.
It
You're not
is.
getting specific enough to be able to get that momentum going and get excited to what's next. And that's probably a good benchmark is excitement, right? If I am clear enough about the next phase or the other thing or what I want, if I'm clear enough to be excited about it,
Yeah.
then you're probably getting enough specific enough to start generating momentum.
So what if you don't know what job should be? You know, what that job should be?
But you can at least come up with some attributes of what you would like in your job, right? So, do you want to be in a cubicle? Do you want to work with people? Do you want to work with numbers? Do you want to be in front of the public? Do you want to do something that's hands-on? Do you want to sit in front of a computer screen? There's lots of things that you can still figure out without having to box it into a specific job.
Right. So, and that would happen to me. It's like I had this my own project, my own YouTube project I wanted to do. You reached out, you said, "Hey, you want to do podcast stuff?" Absolutely. I talked to you about podcast stuff. That sounds fun. Not exactly what I want to do, but in the same realm. My wife, same thing. And so it's like these two like other projects. The one I wanted was here, but now these ones are so much farther along and so much more propelling. To me, if I got too specific, I don't want to be in a cubicle. I want to be outside. I, I'm almost worried that that would be too specific.
But here's the thing. So it's almost like people need to restructure their mindset around, job.
Yes.
Right. It's like, of course, we want to earn income, but remember, like, our source selves want to support us in what excites us and what we want to be doing and support us in all ways, including financial. So, like in the comments, if I click this one, somebody says, oh, did it not show up? Show. There we go. Nope, that's not the right one. I can't get this comment thing going.
Okay.
Oh, it scrolled all the way up. Wait, here it is. Show. There we go. She says, I think my problem is that I would rather not work at all.
Sure.
Okay? And a lot of people feel that way. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. Like, what we're doing, you and I right now, mm-hmm. What I do in the afternoons on Wednesdays, the live calls with my School of Expansion students, like, I love doing that stuff.
Yeah.
To me, that doesn't feel like work, right? And I'm making money from it. Like Sunday, I'll do a webinar that's free. On this past Sunday, I did a live one-on-one full day with like 10 or 12 people, and I got paid for that, right? So, but again, like, to me, this doesn't feel like work because I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, nobody has to compromise their reality in order to have certain financial means. I really believe that if you're living your blueprint and you're doing what you're meant to be doing and you're fully in the receptive mode and you're fully, open and connected and all of these things and living in alignment, then the financial means will meet themselves. We just pinch all of that stuff off with our mindset and our disbelief.
Yeah. So for me, I'm leaving the comment up just because I resonate. I took a job because I had to take a job, and the intention was I'm having this for 2 months. 2 months. I just needed something to do until 2 months from now, because that was the time when I was going to really get the thing. So I'm going to take this stupid little job. I don't want to work. I'd rather not work. Two months became a year and a half because it ended up being just like you said. It was fun. I found the right coworkers. It ended up being fun every day until the point it wasn't, and then I moved on. That was so it's odd because it's the same. You punch in and it's not what I want, but if I do it for a bit, that works too.
Yeah, and I think when it's time to move on to something else, or when the universe is kind of nudging us towards, the next thing, then like the job might start to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, I play at my work. Exactly that, right? What you described about everything that you're involved in. Totally. Do you think everyone? Okay, so if you had to say your passion, maybe your passion is teaching.
But there's never just one passion.
Sure.
Right. So like, right. I love to teach, right? I love to do what we're doing right now. Right. I love to play disc golf. Right now I've got 66 acres. I've got a million different ideas of what to do with that property flooding through my brain, including like building a retreat center, adding disc golf courses, a meditation center. Like, there's so many cross-country ski trails, rentable cabins. Like, these are all different things that I would call passions, right? Hanging out with my kids. I love hanging out with my kids. That's a passion. So again, it's like nobody is ever just single faceted with one passion, one excitement, especially for their entire life.
Right. How do you think? Like a smart technique for goals, not something that works the best. The smart technique where it's like, whatever. Do you know that technique?
I do not.
it's whatever. There's always rules for things, or simple. Keep it simple, stupid. So
Yeah.
the lighter manifestation discovered an intention is a flash vision. Oh, I see. I'm confused by this.
To me, that's very, very heady.
Yeah.
Manifestation is just a response to a vibration. So there's no, different things work differently for different people. But meditate, be grounded, run the energy through you. There's a few, I think, key things to do to help facilitate the process. But yeah,
Well,
whatever
it's
works.
interesting when you say like, be clear, right? Because that immediately does go to my head. Like, okay, I need to write down everything I want, or I guess the second it stops feeling fun.
Well, being
then
clear. So here's what being clear is going to do: is being clear is going to lead you to the vibration you want to be practicing.
yeah.
Right. So like the more clear you are as you write down what you're envisioning and working through it all in your mind, the more clear you become, and the more excited your vision is looking on paper, the more excitement you're going to feel.
Yeah.
Right. And
You
the more
always have that clarity. Because I don't think, or maybe you did have it last week with the golf course, because you were waiting to hear back from your offer.
I knew that I wanted a property that was over 50 acres.
Okay.
And that was never cut, never harvested, like as mature as a woodland that it could get. I knew that I wanted maple trees. And those are and I knew I wanted it the closer to town, the better. Because the closer to town it's going to be, the easier it's going to be for people to come out, whether it's a disc golf course or a meditation center or whatever we decide to do there. So those are kind of my criterias. In the 2.5-year search, I think we visited 3 or 4 properties tops, and we only put an offer down on 1 or 2 other properties, and we lost out on those offers. So I knew I had a very solid feel of what I was looking for, and what I wanted.
So if you were doing that same technique with a relationship, and you wrote down everything you want, and it's not showing up like that, like, so with this thing, it is perfect, it's everything you wanted, or it's kind of
So
sort of
far,
okay.
Right now it's only about 4 acres of field at the front, which is great because it's perfect for building and adding tons of fruit trees. We could even lease the land out to an apple orchard that's almost next door. I would like to have, there's some field on either side of it that I'd purchase if it was available, and I might talk to those owners. So like there's always room for tweaking, right? But that's part of the fun too.
Well, and so back to the relationship, comparison.
Yeah. So with relationships, my mind wants to say it's a little bit different, even though it's not really different. People, when they're trying to manifest relationships, like if you find the right person who really makes you feel the way you want to feel, you're not going to give a shit about what their hair color or their eye color is.
Right.
Right. But when people make the list of aspects they want in a partner, those are some of the things that they write down. So relationship, it's really about how you want to feel when you're with that person.
Right.
Right. If that person makes you feel free and loved and satisfied and maybe attractive or whatever the list is, then like, of course, they're going to be the person you want to be with. Right. So yeah, it's a little bit different.
Do you keep that in mind then? So, because you were getting specific about the golf course, your forest. So, but you want to feel a certain way.
Well, you want to look at both too, right? So with
Sure.
the forest, I know how I feel. Part of the desire and the drive for wanting this forest playground was how I felt when I was hiking in the woods, and how I feel when I play disc golf, and how I love to be creative, and like, wow, how much fun would it be to bring a professional quality course to the province, because there isn't one, and there is some in the province next door, but there's none here. So there's a lot of drivers, but a lot of it is about like the deliciousness it feels in all of these projects that this new forest playground allows.
How often do you immediately like start thinking of like business opportunities?
I don't look for the opportunities in order to make the money, right?
Okay.
So for me, like one of the ideas is a building that's got part meditation yoga, part social area, disc golf, reception, and part like a boutique gym, right? Because
Okay.
it's in a small town. There's no gym within a 20-minute drive. There's one that's really old that has mice running around in it. And like, if you get 25 people paying 50 or 80 bucks a month, then that's going to offset some good costs and people are going to get healthy. So I don't, I would never do a business opportunity if just for the money aspect. It would always
Sure.
have to be because I believe in the product or there's fun and excitement in doing that thing. I think that if people come to a business opportunity just for the money aspect, they're going to have a bad time.
Do you have to ever separate? So like I assume when you started playing disc golf, you weren't thinking I'm going pro or I'm going to make money this way. Do you
Never. And to
or
be
it
honest,
always
I don't even think you can make much money off of a disc golf course.
Mm,
So like there's free to play courses. The
sure.
private courses are usually $10 a round or $200 for the year. So it's a very inexpensive sport, which is part of the charm. So I'm not building a disc golf course because I see it as a business opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like some things you can have just as a hobby. You want to play the piano or your MIDI keyboard
Totally.
and yeah.
Totally. It's just like
Yeah.
I love spending time in the woods. I love being around these giant trees. Part of the charm of this property is that and we were looking for lots within a 3-hour drive radius.
Oh my gosh.
And this one just happens to be 10 minutes from the house.
That's great.
And one of my friends down the street here, he's got a 50-acre property and he harvests the sap from his 50-acre property, which is 5 minutes from here, and makes maple syrup and sell it. Well, he can harvest the sap from our place too, right?
Mm.
So it's like there's so many delicious things we can do with it.
But your mind starts adding those in or that just comes to you?
Oh yeah, it all kind of just drops in, right? It's
Drops
we could do
in.
this, and then when I checked out the property, he came with me because he knows a lot more about acreage and trees, and I wanted him to tell me like, is there a lot of maple trees here? And he said there was lots, so it's perfect.
That's great. My recent downloads are telling me that I need to sit back and allow the transformation to happen. I'm here to transform. Stuck in a cocoon right now for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, transformation never happens externally. The external can be a spark to the transformation, but transformation is always an internal thing. Every time you shift a belief, you're transforming.
So with this, if you're sitting around, say he's sitting around waiting in a fun way, i- is that the process? Is that part of the process? Or is it like the blinders are on?
When
Because to me,
source
I opened up a little bit.
Yeah. My perception is that when source kind of, like he uses the word cocoon. When source puts you in this box where nothing is happening in external reality, what they're trying to do is get you to focus on something that you have going on in your internal reality,
Okay.
right? And that's what you need to shift so that the external reality begins to shift. So it's like for me, the last year and a half has been very slow, no business growth, nothing much going on. And then a month ago, I started shifting that energy of support and recalibrating to being more dominantly in the vibration of support. And then the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks has been absolutely insane.
Right. Did you feel like you were actively in a cocoon type stage in the last year with it, or you
Maybe
were
even
trying things, spinning wheels?
maybe I would say maybe even close to 2 years,
Oh wow.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. And
But
it's
when
it,
you're
it was
in
a
it,
time, and the way source explains it is reality goes through ebbs and flows.
sure.
And for me to evolve into the next version of who I am, I needed that slowness. And it was in this period of slowness that I stepped out of the vibration of effort and striving. Like I am a completely, I mean, we're a different version of ourselves every time we shift a belief.
Yeah.
But if I look at, the Nick of today versus the Nick of 2 years ago, that version of Nick is very different, even more so than the version of Nick from 2 years ago to like 5 years prior to that.
Right.
Like
So
I've probably shifted the biggest beliefs of my life in the last 2 years.
and did you it's was it intentional? Was that part intentional? Or you're always growing, right? You're always evolving.
Yeah, we always are,
You feel like
right?
you are though.
But the rate at which we allow ourselves to evolve is a match to the rate at which we allow ourselves to go within. And most people are too busy and too externally focused to take the time to sit with themselves. And again, expansion students, that's the still point meditation. It's only a 10-minute meditation, but it's taking the time every day to check in. What do I have going on within me? Right?
Yeah.
Because it's allowing those things to surface and be processed that shifts who you are, then shifts your vibration, then shifts your external reality.
So looking back on it, I know it early, what was it? It probably was 2 months ago that you were talking about you started taking up a meditation practice again.
Yep.
Do you think all this came from that or
I
it
don't
was
know, but
okay.
I'm still doing it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that's part of it. Um, the bigger part in the last month or two is definitely the shifting out of the vibration of um
Right. Ease, you said.
unsupported.
Right.
Ease, I've always had no problem focusing in and tuning into ease. It's the aspect of feeling supported that I was lacking, and I'm still probably only 10% of the way to what's possible.
Do you think you found that through the meditation or was it something different?
Something different.
Oh,
I
wow.
think Source kind of pointed it out, and then I sat in with it and did some clearing work around some childhood stuff. And then I spent and in those meditations, then I put my focus on attuning to calibrating to that feeling of support. What they've told me yesterday or 2 days ago was that because of how I experience support, I see it only one dimension of support when there's like all these other facets of and dimensions I need to open up to um, on the topic. So
So
that's kind of
did
what I'm playing with now.
yeah, so, like, I mean, would you have found that without Source? I mean, you would have gotten your own type of download type thing? Like, this felt like a shortcut?
I wouldn't call it a shortcut. It was more like, this is where you're at, and
Okay.
this is where your next level kind of lies.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking of, like, does she do one-on-ones? Is that where you
I'm,
would have gotten that? Yeah.
well, that came through in a Reiki session. So she was
Oh, it
giving me
was?
a Reiki treatment, and then it just kind of came through. But that stuff too comes through, like, when I meditate or do different things, or even when I'm just walking in the woods. Source is communicating with all of us all the time. But again, because people aren't grounded, um, people are too busy, they're not tuning in, people aren't receiving what Source is feeding us.
How about,
Generally.
like, when you start like, so now you're in the thick of it, right? You're building your thing and everything's flowing and flowing and flowing. How often are you, like, reflecting, "Am I grounded? Am I feeling this?" Because 'Cause I'm getting swept away in a wonderful way. It's all positive, but, until you said grounding, I
Yeah,
forgot about grounding.
and it's never about stepping out of the mind 100%, right? But
Right.
like, if I know that when I go and play disc golf or when I hike in the woods, I know that that hour I'm spending in the woods or half an hour I'm spending in the woods, I know that I'm spending that time grounded in my body,
Cool. So
right?
you're taking time for yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody should be and almost has to be, right? How do you want to evolve spiritually if you don't take time for yourself?
Right. But, like, it's specific almost. It's like, I know I have these clients, maybe client sandwich an hour, but
But it's not like I'm gonna go hike in the woods so that I can be grounded.
oh, okay.
It's I'm doing what I love, and of the activities I love, I know which ones are grounding me. They're just part of my excitement. So there's activities that everybody who's in this chat window can do that grounds them, but the question is like, are you taking the time to do it? It's like I've got I know a guy, I've got a friend who he's stressed out all the time. He's always, complaining about his job, and it's
Mhm.
like, I told him, I even offered him, "You want to come to my seminar? It's all day Sunday. It's free. I'll give you a free ticket." Right. But he's not proactively making time for himself and making himself a priority. So you can't grow and evolve if you don't do that. And it's not everybody's path, and that's okay. right?
Right.
Most people who are here listening to this are probably people who are wellness minded or spiritual growth minded or law of attraction minded. And you can sit there and do external things like vision boards all day long, but really at the end of the day, it's about what vibration are you attuning to, and are you taking the time to give not just your physical body through nutrition or exercise, but your emotional body, your mental body, the nurturing that it needs.
I'm sifting and sorting what my highest excitement is and aligning with that. Enjoying the process, but something threw me off course again. See, this happens, right? Something comes along and sideswipes
But
you. What do you do then?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's not something that's off course.
Right.
It's an experience to show you what you're practicing vibrationally so that you can correct it. And I don't like the word correct because it makes it sound like it's wrong, but it's not. So again, anything that comes at you that's out of left field or feels like it's getting in your way or shifting things up, it's a manifestation, right? It's not your source self that's being a dick saying, oh, they're having life too easy, I'm going to go get in their way.
Right.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. See, it never feels, so you have to like figure out the relationship between that, or how
it's the relationship between you and you, as Abe says.
Yeah.
Right. So it's what aspect of myself is responsible for the orchestration of this circumstance.
Yeah. How about the purpose of the contrast, suffering, cocoon, clarity, same breath, same type of thing, right?
Growth, expansion.
Go into it a little more. I'm going to find some more of these questions.
And it's like Abraham-Hicks says, you need to know what you don't want in order to know what you do want.
Yeah. I have a question on beliefs. I've noticed that I quickly take on new beliefs and then that then limit me. Is that likely to be pointing to an underlying belief? There's something deeper between, below.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, maybe. It's hard to say. It's, everybody's beliefs is different. Everybody's got a unique thumbprint. I don't think a belief makes you take on beliefs unless you have a belief that you need to take on beliefs.
Right. I think that's what she's asking, right? Is there something underlying there?
It's possible.
And so let's go through it. What are you doing there?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Because I don't know what belief that person's practicing that's fueling them to pick up all these beliefs. I think we're always instantiating beliefs. Like a belief is just a story you buy into.
Yeah.
Right. Like what I taught in the course on Sunday is that, an emotion leads to a belief, right? When you feel the emotion, you ask that probing statement, I feel this way because,
right.
That leads to a belief. So because, I don't know, my dad said so, and then you buy into that because of a story. Right.
Right.
And, as Bashar says, all truths are true. Right. You and I can have opposing stories generating opposing beliefs within us, and they're both true because my story is true to me and your story can be true to you.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So it's about looking at those stories and knowing that you're empowered enough to choose any story you want.
Yeah. Huh. Thanks.
So she says, thanks, Miss.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good job, Tammy. I'm proud of you.
Source is being a rascal. I agree about the need to connect with what grounds us. Being in nature is my soul food. Yeah, and that's where I feel like I'm missing out. It's a little too cold for my liking.
I thought you lived in the country somewhere. Do you live in a city?
No, well, it's kind of adjacent. It's kind of country. Like I'm 30 minutes away from, I don't even know what Omaha, Nebraska has. It probably 2 million people.
Okay.
Maybe not that many.
Yeah, that's a big city.
Yeah, and so I'm a half hour away from that.
Yeah, we're probably a good 8 to 10 hour drive from a city that big.
So with something like that, do you feel like, I heard this conversation come up the other day, but when you're in that environment, even just the traffic, like there is a different energy.
Yeah, it's like I can't picture myself looking out of my front window and just staring at concrete and buildings.
No.
Right. So like our view, like the front of our house, we're 30 to 40 feet from the ocean. maybe 20 to 30 feet. I don't know. Like I could cast a fishing line from my front yard into the ocean. So like for me, like when I open up my blinds in the morning and I look out onto the ocean, like it's like I can breathe, I can feel all of this space, and to me that grounds me, it replenishes me. And then I can go and when I go walk in the woods, it's like there's nothing that beats that vibe or that energy or that feeling of being surrounded by these 80-year-old trees and these ancient trees and the leaves and the wildlife. Like it's just, to me, that's just delicious. To me,
So
that's
when you go into a big city, go ahead. Sorry, say that again.
Anxious is a strong word.
Yeah.
I don't like big cities. So for me, whenever I've traveled, it's been like hiking in the fjords in Norway or like the backcountry in Iceland. I've been to Copenhagen a number of times. My brother lives there, and I do like Copenhagen. I find Scandinavia's got a very clean, grounded feel. The buildings don't seem too tall, but I don't like big. Polluted's a strong word, and this is my preference. There's nothing wrong with big cities. That's just the way I'm orchestrated and designed.
Yeah, and a lot of that is being so far away that maybe you're picking up on an energy that you don't like.
Yeah.
When you're
and it's like even going to the malls at Christmas time here, like I don't like crowds. I don't like hustle bustle. To me, that ungrounds me and pulls me out of my body.
Yeah. Can I ask you first how you first met? Let's say you and your wife. I think that's the question. Or is it you and I? How did we meet?
Probably you and I. Nick and I didn't meet on an ape cruise. We met here. I think you and I probably met. We were talking about books, our first conversation.
No, I know exactly what it is. You want to hear it?
Okay. Yeah.
Like the relationship means more to me than it does to you. No,
I don't know.
It was a Reddit. It was a Reddit post.
Oh, it was a Reddit post.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You have so much going on. But like, so yeah, it was hearing law of attraction. Oh, well, because so you know how you go to bed and you'll have those like 8 hours of affirmations, life wasn't going good, so I'll throw on YouTube. And then that led to me to like learn about law of attraction a little bit, like maybe The Secret. Okay.
Yeah.
And then going on a Reddit forum, law of attraction Reddit forum, you posted a bunch of stuff and it was fascinating. And I reached out to you and it was like, then through like taking a bunch of stuff with you, I learned about Abraham-Hicks. Like I didn't know any of that at all.
And then eventually you launched Animated Abraham.
Yeah, that was so that was like, gosh, it's been 10 years we've known each other.
Has it been that long? It'd be fun to go back and find that Reddit post. I don't think it's been 10 years. Maybe. So.
Because when my son was born, so my son was born 11 years ago, I started really dipping into like non-duality. Right. I was like, something's wrong with like, I need a different perspective.
Yeah.
And that was fun to learn. But then, there's not much to do about that.
Yeah.
If all is one and one is all. And all of this kind of works in that same vein. But at least it gives like a more optimistic,
totally.
Whereas the other stuff, I can take a nihilistic approach. That's us. I thought I was a modern mom, but now I'm having trouble accepting my 16-year-old daughter's choice of first boyfriend. I keep telling myself that I should trust her choice, but it's weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, welcome to parenthood.
That it's never, there's never, is that like a test? Is that the vibration you've been practicing?
Yeah, I mean, we love our kids so much. We want what's best for them. And it's hard when we see our kids making choices that we don't agree with. It's definitely been a big lesson for me in detaching and allowing and trusting for the last 3 years and in different aspects of my kid's life.
Yeah, it feels like, you probably have boyfriends coming around now or about to.
I don't even know.
Shove your head in the sand.
Yeah.
It's like having blocks. The more you tell yourself you have money, a money block, the more you have a money block. Yeah.
But I would say all of that is it all comes down to whether you're practicing the vibration of overflow or lack. So
Okay.
anytime you're trying to fix anything, you're turning into lack. So if you can turn into abundance and overflow, then there's no need to go back and correct anything.
Okay. So were you practicing overflow for so long that you felt like maybe it was a bit much, and so you needed to find that support?
No, it was that like when you allow yourself to be in the vibration of universal support, then you're allowing your source self to play more of a role on the field.
Okay. And so was a part of it like you were just like, I can do everything myself. I will do myself everything myself. It's better this way.
That's part of it. Part of it was beliefs around support being unsafe.
Oh,
A lot of people feel as though support comes with a catch or a condition, or
yeah.
that you're stuck owing somebody something. Um, and that's quite a common thing around the vibration of support. But for me, what happened when I shifted that vibration, and this comes down to what I said earlier about learning to perceive support as more than just one person helping another.
Sure.
So it was when I had my support shifts, this like miracle digestive enzyme that converts sugar to fiber showed up, right? And that enzyme is supporting my physical beingness, my physical body in a way where I'm now processing food in a way that I've never been able to process it my entire life, right? So like that is a form of support, right?
Do you find that people started showing up, or just even I mean, you're saying even a pill, but did the pill come in the form of a person?
Synchronicity,
Okay.
the right person coming through at the right time. I've got this new business opportunity that's shaping up that lots of people are stepping in and helping and supporting in that way. Um, they even said, Source even said that this forest playground showing up was because I opened up that energy of support.
Oh, really?
And I'm not exactly sure. I can't logically see how that fits together. But again, our irrational minds can only comprehend so much.
And so you get in the practice of appreciating or like feeling that support, and the more that comes, the more that comes.
Yeah, since yesterday, I've been seeking, a practice around amplifying all of the different projects, right? So
Mm,
right now, I've got like the disc golf course project and a business project, and like sharing about this enzyme project, and what else are we going to do with this property project. And I've got, I consider, nurturing my kids and Christmas and
sure.
family stuff and projects. So I've got all these projects, and I'm like, I was thinking about, okay, so how do I nurture each of these projects individually? The old paradigm way is, you visualize it and you visualize the end result and you feel into it. But I feel like there's more ways to create momentum behind all of these projects. So I'm kind of seeking something where I could like
Mm.
sit down and do a practice every morning and like set a 5-minute loop timer and write all my projects down and like go through each one exactly 5 minutes and maybe loop through and do it twice. I don't know. And what I'm wondering is, do I focus on support in all of these things? Because that's my theme right now. And that's what I'm looking to amplify. Um, so that's kind of what I'm playing with right now. And I'm hoping to have some answers this afternoon. And maybe we're going to talk about that on the School of Expansion call later today.
When you do a thing like that, do you feel like okay, that is one thing I should do one day? Or in that moment, the second you have that thought, that's the time you've been doing it? Should you be doing it?
So right now I have a tendency to meditate for half an hour a day. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's the afternoon. Um, what I'm thinking of doing is kind of shifting that meditation practice into kind of
Hmm.
more consciously tuning into specific aspects of my reality, and then doing what I'm calling, vibrational amplification, which is what I kind of just described.
How about this getting addicted to clearing blocks or clearing? Do you find that?
Addiction might be a bit of a strong word. What I see is people are when somebody is addicted to clearing,
Mm.
it's that panic mode is a strong word, but they're typically in a state of being of, I need to do everything I can to get this external circumstance resolved. There has to be a block. I'm going to go and I'm going to spend hours and hours and hours digging through blocks until this problem is resolved.
Okay.
So I don't think it's an addiction to clearing blocks. I think it's like being attached and needing to fix something. And of course, when you're in the vibration of this needs to be fixed, then you're in the vibration of resistance. So you're just kind of amplifying it.
Well, and I kind of resonate with what she's saying. Like if I'm thinking about my situation, like I would be thinking about what's wrong, right? Because that's the easiest thing to think about. I wish this part wasn't a part of me. And so I think that that could be part of the addiction, like to some degree, an addiction.
Yeah. And it's, one of the first things Source says when it comes to, healing wounds is like the very first thing is be compassionate to that version of yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The
Because
shift of perspective. Yeah.
when you're compassionate and loving towards that aspect of yourself and non-resistance, then you're softening it up.
So would you ever do like a podcast from you should do it from the golf course.
Yeah, we could. I mean, I'll be
Do
going back there.
you have strong
We got
enough Wi-Fi? You could have like,
Oh yeah, that was another bonus, is that like cell signal was loud and clear, which is amazing.
wow, that's great. You
Yeah.
could just walk through the whole thing and have like a lapel mic or something.
Yeah. Well, I've got a few videos and pictures from the first time we walked it. I posted them in the collective Facebook group so people can check it out there.
I had a dream where I was at an old job I didn't like. Emotion in the dream was uneasiness, maybe guilt. I was late to go back to the office. Someone told me I did something wrong. What is my inner being telling me?
Yeah, so when a dream kind of triggers negative emotions, that's a sign that you probably have those emotions to process in your waking reality.
Say
So
that
if you
again.
wake
Let's
up,
hear it.
if you're in a dream and in that dream you feel powerless and uneasy and guilty, then when you wake up from that dream, then you want to check in with yourself to see if those emotions are present looking to be processed.
So I love this because 2 nights ago I had the exact same dream. I was back at an old job, and for the first time in my entire life, I said, "Nope, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this dream." I bounced out of the dream. I stopped a dream. That's the closest I've gotten to lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to now change that, but I've never to me that was my nightmare. And I don't want to be there, and it would play out normally.
So I would say there could be fears of having to go back.
Always.
Yeah.
Or
So
some
just
trauma. It's always like
something.
simple.
Yeah.
But the fact that I I remember thinking, I'm not being here. I'm not doing this. And I woke up, or the dream definitely stopped. Something happened.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah. Maybe you help with clarity, understanding my inner being's message through the dream, and you did. Oh, being dramatic, not addicted, and I get that. But I think that addicted to the blocks is some level addiction, right? Always addiction. Well, in my life, addiction is a prevalent thing.
Yeah. And it's like, the ultimate thing in this is understanding that like anything that triggers a negative emotion is there to show you where you're giving your power away.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like nothing's ever wrong, nothing's ever broken. It's more opportunity for evolution and more opportunity for empowerment. So if there's a financial circumstance that's making you feel trapped, then it means you're practicing the vibration of being trapped, and you got to work through that within you, right? It's breaking the cord from allowing external circumstances to define the emotions we practice.
Hi.
No,
Hi,
hey,
Allison
Allison.
and Andre. Maybe something subconsciously activated since I'm in my hometown for a couple of months. That's interesting. Like a dream because of where you are. Do you think
Totally.
that's just a stress response?
Could be, right? When you
Okay.
go to your hometown, maybe some fears or some emotions kind of bubble up to the surface looking to be processed.
Yeah. Any more questions? Anyone?
Yeah, lots of great questions. Great discussion today,
It
too.
was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anybody
what's the
else
next
have
step
any
for your thing?
topics for the land?
Yeah.
Closing's not until January. But we have permission to go walk it as much as we want. So not much from here to there. A lot of research on my side of things. One of the ideas we have is, do you guys have those glamping domes down there? Those white domes with the like glass front?
Oh, no. I don't know
Well,
what you're
there's these
talking
like
about.
giant domes you can get, and one of the ideas is to put in one of these giant domes. They're fairly affordable. I'm guessing it's probably like 40 grand to put in like a giant dome big enough to use as like a yoga studio and meditation center. So that's one of the ideas. So it's right now it's just about kind of playing with numbers and seeing what we could build and see what it would cost. And there's a lot of different things to do. One is like forest management. So when a forest is unmanaged, you get a lot of like overgrowth and too much shading for some of the trees. So you can hire experts to come in and kind of evaluate the woodland and tell you what to cut down and what to do to make the forest as healthy as possible.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's like fun stuff like that.
What's the difference between a gut feeling and having an intention?
I think a gut feeling is like like a response, like a download.
Mhm.
So like if I get a gut feeling that I should go talk to somebody, well, that could be like a message from source, right? Or a nudge from source. Having an intention is choosing. So I can intend, I'm intending that I'm going to turn this forest playground into the most magical forest playground anybody has ever seen. So that's an intention.
Is the intention more of like from the ego, do you think?
I think intention comes from the mental body. It doesn't have to be from
Right.
the ego.
Okay.
So I can say, I intend to love everybody here unconditionally. So that's an intention.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very ego.
No.
Yeah. When you manifest something going away, uh, was it because you leveled up your vibe to get rid of that thing or person?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think if something goes away, like if your vibration, see, the word leveled up is tricky because leveled up doesn't really apply to vibration. Vibration is like a spectrum being practiced. So like
Yeah.
if you look at worthiness, that goes from one end of the scale, which is completely unworthy, to the other end of the scale, which is completely worthy. So wherever you are on that scale, your reality is going to reflect something. So you can go from one end of the scale to the other in either direction.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point because there, Abraham always talks about that it's not like here's your certificate, you graduated, because you're always vibrating in that spectrum.
And everything is manifestation.
Yeah.
Everything is manifestation.
So in a way it is manifesting it. I mean, but I
Yeah, I mean,
guess
but it doesn't necessarily correlate to raising your vibration. Like you can manifest a neighbor tomorrow that's an absolute jerk and makes
yeah.
you angry all the time, right? It's just a response to what we're practicing.
Well, so how do you get to the level you're dreaming of, right? You're shifting the vibration to that.
Okay, that's a deep, deep
Oh, it
question.
is.
Yeah, because think about it. When you say how can you get to the level you're dreaming of? Well, to most people, that's an external reality representation of what they think they want,
Right.
right? So there's I like to talk about desires, and there's kind of two categories. There's the desires of my human self, my ego mind, right? But then there's also the desires of my source self and the source part of me and the source connected version of me,
Yeah.
right? So ultimately, both are equally valid and both are blended. And I think when you live more according to your, or let's say dominant to your source self desires, that's where I think you find more fulfillment. Where you're living to try to achieve an external reality, well, what you're really looking for is states of being.
Sure.
But like to me, that's the harder path.
So I remember back in the day you would watch like yacht videos or like lifestyle of the rich and famous. I assume trying to get in that vibration or feel that vibration or stir something up within you.
Part of that was the fascination of it all.
Okay.
So have you watched Successions from
No.
HBO? Watch it.
Right. I know about
It's
okay.
fascinating because it's about like a billionaire. Like this guy's got so much money that like it's outside of like the way these people live. It's outside of what you can even mentally comprehend. And to me, I found that fascinating. And then that led to some synchronicities where we actually ended up on a yacht in Fort Lauderdale, which was kind of crazy. But
it wasn't to stir up a vibration.
No, it wasn't to intentionally. Okay. I need to manifest myself a yacht, even though the idea is fun and exciting, and there's no intention not to do that. I would love to run a 10-day seminar and fly everybody in to spend a week on a yacht and do a seminar on a yacht for a week. I think that would be a blast.
Yeah. I just always I wrongfully assumed that you were trying to like get in that state. And maybe you were to some degree, but it
was never. Here's the thing. It was never to escape something.
Okay.
So when you are trying to manifest from the vibration of looking to escape a current circumstance, escape a current reality, escape anything, what you're actually doing vibrationally is you're pushing against those things. So you're basically keeping yourself stuck there.
Okay.
Right.
Whereas versus looking at your own situation and seeing those aspects.
That's kind of the long way of describing like living without attachment.
Okay. Would you look at aspects of your life that already encompass all that stuff? Like it already has all those things?
It's like right now, like somebody asked us if we wanted to go do a seminar in the Caribbean. And I was like, I told them, yeah, if everything was all set up and we just had to get on a plane and go, yeah, no problem. Sure. But right now I'm more excited to like be walking in the woods.
Right.
And like, be present in my online community here for now. And like just indulge in my right here reality. It doesn't mean that tomorrow I might not get the nudge to go to Amsterdam and run a seminar. Okay. But right now in my now moments, being here is what feels delicious.
So what's today? What's the call today? You're doing a live call with her?
In school. Yeah. Today's School of Expansion. And I think today is me doing hot seats. So breakthrough hot seat call with me. And I think we're going to explore these aspects of like building vibrational momentum.
Yeah. All right.
And maybe we'll talk about the support stuff too. Last week's meditation was that support meditation that went live for members. So I don't know. We'll see what comes up.
Yeah, it's great. Mercury retrograde. Didn't know it was retrograde. Okay, what does that mean?
I don't know. And I don't know if it's in retrograde in True Sidereal. Yeah, usually it means things are slowing down.
Okay.
It's when a planet kind of goes back into a sign. The thing about astrology too is even though it can be incredibly accurate, it's still like themes, right? And your vibration can override any theme. There's people who've had massive forward movement during Mercury retrograde. Sure. I think the biggest thing about astrology is yes, it can be accurate and yes, it can be really cool, but also don't let yourself believe that you can be a victim to its influences.
Well, yeah, because you could frame it to where one thing is slowing down and that's allowing this other part of you to really flourish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, slowing down is what people need more than anything.
Yeah. I think that's it.
I think that's it for today.
I mean, there's more here. Great to hear how you guys met. Oh yeah, we met. We haven't met in person.
No, I think we need to plan something. At some point we'll do another like a seminar like in the Caribbean or Mexico or somewheres, and you and your wife can fly down and we'll get a bunch of fun people together and we'll have a party.
How tall are you?
Do some channeling.
How tall
I'm
are you?
like between 5'10" and 11.
Oh yeah, see, I'm way short. So I'd show up like way shorter than you. I'm way shorter in person.
Yeah, it's always funny. I meet a lot of people for the first time who've watched my stuff or read my books on Abe cruises and stuff like that. And there's always like funny comments.
Oh, it's different, right? It's like, oh, I thought you were going to be this way.
Yeah.
I was watching behind the scenes of some movies and it was like, holy like, look how short that actor is. Like you never would expect that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I know Tom Cruise is super short. There's a few actors that like there's pictures of them filming and they're like standing on like a stilts or like a table or something to
Oh,
be at the
that's
right
funny.
height.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I'll stand next to you on some stilts.
Yeah, it would be fun to do an ape, even though I'm kind of done with the ape thing
It's
and
still
have no
fun.
excitement. It's going to the cruises and hanging out with all the people and partying is still fun. If I do another ape cruise, I'm going to message Mark
Mm.
and ask him if I could DJ one of the nights and throw a
Oh,
big
that'd be
like
cool.
high vibe beat thing. It would be super fun.
Do you play your own too?
Or we just throw our own and get Anik to do the channeling.
Yeah, we
She's
love
just as
that.
good or better than Esther.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, big party.
Yeah, if I could get 20 people committed to wanting to connect somewheres in a tropical warm destination, Dominican, Caribbean, I don't know where. If I could get 20 people to commit to a week, I would make it happen.
Just 20? That's easy.
I think we can break even with 20. That's about the number I think that it would cost to break even.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. See you
Cool.
in a couple hours. I'm excited about that.
See you on the
That'll be
school
fun.
expansion call. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate you guys. We always have lots of fun here. And don't forget, there's a webinar on mindset December 17th, Sunday. Just go to health.nickbreau.com/DEC17. Awesome. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.